everyone. Good day. We are back with another episode of Ask BrandSpeak. I hope that you are having a lovely day, but we here at BrandSpeak Asia sure are glad that you've decided to join us here today. I'm Kyla Reblora, a marketing associate here at BrandSpeak Asia. So I want to know who's tuning in. So if you can, just drop a wave emoji in the comments or say, hey, hola, what's up? In the comments so that I can greet some of you. Before we move on to anything else, I want to let you know that we are offering a free 10-minute brand consultation. Who doesn't like freebies, right? So, yes, that's free. If you're tuning in from Facebook, you should see a question card pop up. But if you're watching from YouTube or if you missed the FB card, just type in the comments, I want 10. Again, just type I want 10 and our team will reach out to you after this talk for your free 10-minute brand consultation. Now, we go live every Friday at 12 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. We are also present on Instagram and LinkedIn, so go ahead and give us a follow and subscribe if you're on YouTube. We talk about all things branding, digital marketing, influencer marketing, virtual events management, and last week and this week, we are talking about content marketing. I'm pretty sure most of you have heard of the saying, content is king. If you have heard of content is king, do let me know in the comments because businesses, influencers, and maybe even you plan out content to put out on social media to keep your followers engaged or to encourage people to avail of your products and services. But as we mentioned last week, putting out content isn't enough anymore. There are now a lot more different formats and platforms that we deliver and consume content in. So I see that some of you have heard of the saying content is king. But anyway, if you missed last week's episode or any of our previous episodes, don't worry because you can binge watch them all you want on our YouTube and Facebook accounts. Nope, not on Netflix, although we do want to get there someday, one way or another. So, yes, go check out our Facebook and YouTube accounts if you want to binge watch all of our previous episodes. So, for today, our speaker, you've already met him last week and many more times before then. We've got Sir Renzo Jimenea, who will be discussing the pitfalls of content marketing so that you won't have to fall in them. Hello, Sir Renzo. Good day. How are you doing?
Hello, hi, Carla. Thank you for the intro, and happy Friday to everyone who's tuning in live
Woohoo!
with us here on Facebook and YouTube, and also for the ones who will be rewatching
Mm-hmm.
the video, our episode for today as well. Right?
Yeah, so Sir Renzo, before we jump into today's discussion about the pitfalls of content marketing, just picking it up from last week,
Yeah.
what do our viewers need to know about content marketing today?
Sure. Just want to share with everyone that content marketing, as a strategy is effective. That's one thing that you guys can definitely do for this year, or even as we reach the last quarter of the year as well. And this is a strategy that's not going away anytime soon. Especially now, that we're in this competitive environment. A lot of brands are went digital already. So if you're not doing
Yeah.
it, you're already late in the party. So brands and companies alike are continually producing content, and I'm sure you guys have seen this as well. If you scroll through your timelines, you see ads, you see posts,
Yeah, all the
right? You see
time.
blogs. That's very true. So one of the many things that you can do with your content marketing. So with that, also one thing that I want to share with you guys today, apart from our topic for today, which is content marketing pitfalls, is that I really need to understand, the benefits of investing in your content, in your content marketing, and analyzing, what makes quality content,
Mm-hmm.
and what are the first steps to take toward growing your audience and increasing your brand's online presence. So this is something that we've sort of touched on in our last week episode. So with that, so if you're not seeing results from your digital content strategies, it could be that it could be, that you are guilty of doing one of the five content marketing pitfalls that we'll be talking about today. Yeah. So for our first pitfall that we'll be talking about is that you don't have a content marketing goal, right? So
Yeah, actually, Sir Renzo, you've brought that up a lot of times. Every time you're on an episode of Ask Brand Speak, you always bring up that businesses should always have marketing goals. So do let us know more about it.
right. So this is something that sorry, may langaw bigla. Right. So it happens when you go live, right? So this is
Yeah.
something that most brands are already accustomed to doing, but some brands, especially perhaps even the younger ones, tend to overlook it, or even when the pressure comes in of delivering content on a regular basis, right? As frequent as daily, right? So,
Hmm.
but of course, it's important for brands to have a goal, not only for their business, but also if you guys are going to do content marketing as well, you need to have a goal for that as well. So at a minimum, at the bare minimum, your content marketing goal should be attainable, should be quantifiable, and it should be aligned, right? So be attainable, right? So of course, we want to reach high numbers. We want to present, positive results, especially if you're a brand manager. You want to show good results to your supervisor as well. But of course, we have to set a realistic standard for ourselves,
Yeah.
and then be quantifiable. Get some metrics. Your KPIs in the mix. I had a session, yeah, an episode talking about social media metrics, right? It's all about it. So, by the way, you can watch the full episode and all of our episodes of Ask Brand Speak on our YouTube channel as well. So be sure to check those out at Brand Speak Asia. Don't forget to subscribe as well. So
Yes,
shameless
like and
plug,
subscribe.
shameless plug right there. Right.
Totally.
So there, three things. Your goals, right? So be attainable, be quantifiable, and be aligned. Right. So for the second pitfall is recycling the same call to actions. Right. So the purpose of a call to action is to get people to click or to do a certain action. That's why it's called call to action, or to lead them to something, right? So, but if your call to actions are too vague or too generic, to actually speak to the needs and to the wants of your audience, it might not be serving its purpose. How when you see something so often, or if you read something often enough, you just tend to disregard it at all. Like,
Yeah.
have you ever experienced that, right? So it's kind of the same thing, with it when it comes to your call to action. So if you constantly see, right, learn more, visit our
Oh,
website. So these are very, very generic call to actions.
yes.
Um, it's important for you guys to be creative with your call to action. So it's time to step up your game a little bit and upgrade your call to action. And there's a variety of ways that you guys can do it. Of course, you can do the generic way, being non-specific. One example that I want to mention with you guys is that, by the way, this is by no means I'm sponsored or in partnership with, but we see with Randall Johnson. I'm sure you guys have heard of him. He's a well-known finance personality and a guru as well here in the Philippines, right? So the way that he approaches his content, in terms, he asks, his call to action is that he wants his audience to comment down below on his posts, and from commenting there, he'll be sharing with them reference material or a certain guide, depending on what the specific topic is. But that's his call to action, and that's a very creative way of approaching it, and at the same time, creating engagement for your posts as well. So something that you guys can take inspiration from, and that's just from comments. Especially On the other hand, if you want to go into Facebook, maximize the use of reactions, and I'm sure you guys have seen it as well. Right? Though the this or that type of content, use the heart reaction, the wow reaction, and those kinds of things. So so the key thing here is to understand, the content that your guys are releasing, and look into the platform as well, and see how you can maximize those as well. Okay. And so, lastly, here for the second point here is that make sure that your call to actions align with your audience intent at different stages of the funnel. Of your content marketing funnel, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on. But for instance, the visit website, if that's your call to action, it will likely make more sense, if it's someone for at the top of the funnel, which is the awareness or the discovery stage, right? And if you have a call to action for a free trial or schedule a demo, it depends on your brand or your product, right? It makes more sense, at the end, for the purchase, for the third phase or the third stage of the funnel, right? So, there.
Yeah, actually, Sir Renzo, you mentioned it earlier, but the thing with CTAs is that for your audience, you actually need to guide them on what you want them to do with your piece of content, whether that's to visit your website or to register for something, right? Because people don't want to feel lost or
Yeah,
confused.
yeah, and that's very much true. You want them. Your call to action will serve as the guide, as the next step of the process, so that you can direct them to that next stage of the funnel,
Yeah.
as well. It's very true. Right. So, moving forward, with for our third content marketing pitfall is having multiple personalities. Right. So, what do we mean by this? Is that you have a different messaging, you have a different brand personality, uh, with the content that you guys are releasing on whichever platform that you guys are active on. Now, of course, established brands. This is something that they don't necessarily have troubles with, but more
Yeah.
often than not, this happens with newer brands, newer companies, who haven't really set up their branding yet. And so this is one thing that can happen, that might happen as well. So your content's connection to your brand might not be entirely clear, and it can become unrecognizable across the channels where your content is being published. So, if you fail to connect the dots, with the content towards your brand, to your content viewers, so no matter the channel that you are in, be it on Facebook, on your website, on your Google as well, it can definitely have an impact for your brand. So your audiences, even for us as well, right? We want to achieve consistency all throughout, right? So,
Yeah.
consistency with your brands, especially if you are present in different platforms. If you're present on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, even if you're present on TikTok and your website, your
Mm-hmm.
overall brand, your messaging, your personality should be consistent as well. Okay, so whatever it is, whatever your brand personality is, so if you're a little bit formal, or if you are witty and as fun, with a brand like Angkas, right? You see
Yeah,
here
that's
how
crazy.
how fun and witty they are. Make sure that it's consistent with the content that you produce. Now, to avoid confusion, right? So, what can you do to avoid this? Of course, is to develop a style guide. Have a style guide for your brand. And so, with that, help your style guide. Helps with your content creation. Creating content for your website, for your social media, your YouTube channel, and any other tactic in between. And so your style guide, it serves as your reference and basis always in when creating your content.
Yeah. I
Right.
actually have two examples
Mm-hmm.
for this point. One is Netflix. So I'm pretty sure you
Oh,
guys know this. Like when their title appears, the N, you hear the to-doom. You immediately know that it's
yeah.
Netflix, right? So they actually have this upcoming event. Let me know if you guys have heard it in the comments, and you also, Sorenzo. It's called To Doom. So they're
Yeah,
really
I've seen it.
right. It's so cool. It's a global fan event, so you guys can check that out if you want to. But anyway, they're really digging into their brand, like how people perceive their brand and understand their brand. The thing with brands is that it's not just your font or your colors, it can also be like a sound, like with Netflix. Now
Yeah.
another business that really has a coherent brand is Burger King. Like if you check their Instagram, their main Instagram and also their Instagram here in the Philippines, in Korea, wherever else, they're all consistent. Like their colors, their fonts, they play around with the same stuff, but they're also pretty flexible. But if you see that you could see that they have a very cohesive feed.
That's true. Talking about these things, your colors, your fonts, your messaging, right? So this is something that our design team has talked about as well. We have a full episode on this as well, so be sure to check that out. And I think our
Yeah.
design team is watching us as well here. So I saw earlier Sir Jerome message. So hi Sir Jerome, just a quick shout out to you as well. Hello, hello. Right. So there. So that's very much true. Like well, what I was saying, and especially when it comes to colors, right? That's something that's very distinct for your brand as well.
Mm-hmm.
When you think of certain brands or logos, right? Even if you just see a certain part of it, you can easily identify it with them
Yeah.
as well. But there are instances, just want to share this real quick, that brands go outside of their usual or standard color palette, and you usually do this when they have a certain campaign they're doing as well. One thing that I've seen a brand that's really playful when it comes to colors, and especially in applying it to their logo as well is with Apple.
Yeah.
You see the different colors for when they with their logo as well, with Adidas as well. So a couple of brands that are going outside the box as well for that. So there. So moving forward with our fourth content marketing pitfall is failing to understand your audience and their needs at every stage of the funnel. Now, so brands wants to reach consumers at the moments that most influence their buying decisions. So delivering the right content, at the right stage of the funnel or the journey that they are in, is key to successful content marketing. So crafting the right content, it means that you understand what your audience wants are and what their needs at any given moment. So just to talk about it real quick, content marketing funnel. So there's three stages, three phases. The first is at the very top of the funnel is discovery. So this is when you're a lead or your target market, your audience discovers your brand or the product that you are selling. So just it's also called awareness or discovery. So that's the very top of the funnel. So the second one is consideration. So this is when the lead or the prospect, right, decides to find out whether or not whether your product or service is the right fit for them. So they start to consider, they start to assess as well, comparing it against others in the market. So this is where their research coming in. So then this is where brand reviews play a vital role as well. Just to plug that in as well. And the third and the last stage of the funnel is the purchase or conversion in some. So this is when the prospect gathers at the last bit of information that they need, and they finally make that decision to buy your product or your service, and they finally become a customer. So three different stages, that you need to assess on where your audience is at the moment, and then for you to create the right kind of content uh, to match their stage or to match where they are at in the funnel. So an example, in let's say for the awareness or for the very top or the discovery stage. So people are still getting to know your brand, getting to know the service. So the content that you would you would want to release, at that point in time, is sharing information about your company, about your brand, about So you can do product storytelling, talk about your unique selling points, or even offer a solution to a problem that is related to your brand or to your product as well. But the key thing here is that don't pressure people to buy. So again, understanding what your audience wants and needs at the moment on which stage they are in at the funnel, right? So at this point, at the discovery stage, they're not really looking to buy yet. So
Yeah.
they're just kind of looking around. They're doing a canvas, so to say, right?
Trying
So
to get to know you in a
yeah,
sense.
yeah, definitely. So in order for you to understand this, use your data. You need to get to know your customers. Use your user audience data to drill into what your audience needs, and what they respond well to, and for you to discover, what works and what doesn't work. So,
Hmm.
and the key thing here is approach every piece of content as a value exchange between you and your customer. So yeah, there. So
Yeah.
again, constantly reiterate, to resonate and use data to personalize. So personalize your content wherever and whenever possible.
Yeah. To sort of just put what you said in a nutshell, it's like right content at the right time for the right people in the right platforms. I know that's quite a lot, but I hope you guys get the hang of it real soon.
Yeah, it's a little bit daunting, if you look at it,
Yeah.
uh, just as it is, but it becomes easier once you understand your target market, once you understand your profile as well. So that's
Mm-hmm.
why uh, that's what which leads me to our fifth and final content marketing pitfall, which is very important and which will help you with this as well with number four. So our fifth content marketing pitfall is not reviewing your content performance, right? So I've talked about it in the past as well, with a topic on social media metrics. And so
Mm-hmm. You can watch
some
that, just a shameless plug.
yeah.
You can
Plugging it
watch that
again.
on YouTube and Facebook. So don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on Facebook.
Yeah. So we've been talking about a lot of different topics, and essentially it's all related with one another. So feel free to watch that on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
So, not reviewing your content performance. Some marketers or small business owners mistakenly believe, that as soon as they publish their content, as soon as they post it, it's done, and they just hope that it becomes viral. You receive a lot of engagement, you receive a lot of clicks, but
It's a
that's
lot of
not
hoping.
necessarily the case. Yeah. There's a step that comes after posting your content. You need to
Yeah.
monitor, you need to measure, right? So without reviewing this data, without reviewing it, it's impossible to know whether your efforts are actually successful, whether your content marketing strategy is successful or not. So it's important to review your performance, your content rather, on a regular basis. So analyzing your engagement metrics, your views, your clicks, your social media shares, even can help you understand how you can improve your marketing strategies and deliver the right content to your audience that they would want to see. But the thing is as well, some content will work better than others. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why brands needs to continually, innovate. They continually need to learn to ensure that they are really optimizing their content their for their audience. And it's all about personalization nowadays,
Yeah.
especially on digital. And you can get all of this, and the answer lies in data as well. So for example, you can do A/B testing or split testing if you're familiar with that. So it's a great way of testing, different headlines for your content if you're releasing video content, for your images, for your copies, especially on ads as well. Facebook ads for people who are doing social ads out there who's watching. The A/B testing is a great way for you to determine on what works best. And so knowing what doesn't work is as important as knowing what works, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I hope I was able to mentioned that clearly. So the
Mhm.
data will quickly identify, the failings, and will help and will enable you to make tweaks and changes to be made, so for you to do better with your content marketing strategy. So
Mhm.
content metrics, find out, what content is working for you, what format it is, on which platform that works for you as well. Although nowadays, omni-channel marketing is becoming
Yeah.
a thing nowadays, so it's important for you to be present on wherever your audience is. So as much as, being present on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, even on TikTok as well, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Viber as well. Viber groups is very important as well. So being present on where your audience is, and releasing the right type of content for that platform as well. So continue to learn about what hits the spot for your audience, and why it works, why it doesn't work, and from there you can better optimize your content, so that you can be successful in your content marketing strategy.
Yeah, so Renzo, if I could just add, if people don't review their content performance, so every time they publish content online, they'll always be apprehensive or guessing about whether or not their content will resonate with their audience, right? So if they
Yeah.
review their content performance, they could be saving themselves a lot of time, effort, and money, especially.
That's true. That's very true. Of course, especially for a brand, you have your own team, your
Yeah.
design team, right? So of course, you invest a certain amount of money into your content, whether you're doing ads, or if you're
Mm-hmm.
paying your workforce for your content as well. So if you're able to review your content performance, and you'll be able to assess on whether or not you're achieving your ROI. So right,
Yeah.
your return on your investment as well, and of course, definitely determining whether or not your campaign is successful or not. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these things, what's very important, and I've mentioned this in the past on the episode on social media metrics, right? These are all numbers, right? At the end of the day,
Yes.
the metrics, your KPI. So it's very important for you to analyze and to interpret these data, and what do they mean for your brand, and what do they mean for your business, right? So just because a post, receives, for example, a lot of engagement. So you need to analyze and understand, okay, what does this mean? Is it
Mm-hmm.
just because it's just a timely post, or is it
Yeah.
riding on a specific trend? That's why it got a lot of engagement. Those kinds of things that us as marketers need to understand and look into
Mm-hmm.
as well. Right.
Awesome.
Right. So, just to recap, the five content marketing pitfalls that we've shared with you. The first one is no content marketing goals. Second is, recycling the same call to actions. And then the third, having multiple personalities across different channels, across different content that you're releasing. Number four, failing to understand your audience and their needs at every stage of the funnel. And the fifth content marketing funnel is that, not reviewing your content performance. So there.
All
So
right. Awesome.
yeah.
Thank you so much for that, Sir Renzo. And that's a wrap for today's Pitfalls of Content Marketing episode. Thank you guys once again for joining us. Thank you, Sir Renzo, for
Yeah. Yeah,
taking the time.
sure. I hope that our viewers, and even for those guys, for the people who will be rewatching this episode as well,
Yeah.
hope you guys learned a lot as well. And also, I want to encourage you guys. I might be going a little bit ahead, but if you guys have questions as well, feel free to let us know. Send us a message
Mm-hmm.
down in the comments. Be it about the topic that we've talked about today, we'll be sure
Yeah.
to get back to you on that. Or even if you guys have a topic in mind that you want us to go into,
Mm-hmm.
we've talked about different topics in the past, and here on Ask Brand Speak, branding, influencer marketing, content
Yeah.
marketing, website as well. Let us know in the comments, and we can consider that for an upcoming topic for Ask Brand Speak as well.
Yes. So let us know if you've applied what you've learned from us today, or
Yeah, yeah,
even in the past weeks. Give us a message, DM us on Instagram, hit us up on LinkedIn, leave a comment. We'll get to them, and maybe we can even uh chat about it. Speaking of
for
which,
sure.
you can still avail of our free, once again, that's free, a free 10-minute brand
Okay.
consultation. Just comment, I want 10 in the comments below, and our team will reach out to you right after we end this live stream. So join us again next week for another episode of Ask Brand Speak. And as Sir Renzo said earlier, and as the title suggests, just let us know what else you want to learn from us about digital marketing or virtual events management. So stay tuned to our social media accounts for updates, and thank you guys for joining us today. Bye. Have a good day.
Happy Friday, everyone. See you.
Woohoo! We end.